Imagine waking up every single morning with a profound sense of calm. Picture yourself moving through the day with a peace so unshakable that no argument, no insult, and no unexpected challenge could disturb it. The world around you could be filled with noise, chaos, or negativity, yet deep inside, you remain grounded, clear, and untouchable. What would that feel like? To know that no matter what happens, you can navigate life's highs and lows with grace and clarity. To wake up each day and face life not with fear or frustration, but with a steady confidence and an open heart. Here's the secret. It's not some distant, unattainable fantasy. You don't need to escape to a remote monastery or spend years meditating on a mountaintop. This peace isn't out of reach. It's already within you. It's waiting to be unlocked. The truth is, the power to live this way lies in a mindset that you can cultivate, one principle at a time. In today's video, we're diving into 10 transformative principles inspired by Buddhist wisdom. These teachings are not about becoming perfect, suppressing emotions, or denying life's challenges. Instead, they show us how to embrace the messiness of life with clarity and compassion. Together, we'll uncover not only these ancient insights, but also how to apply them in your modern life. These are not distant philosophies. They're practical, life-changing tools. Let's begin with the first principle that will set you on the path to discovering the Buddhist secret to unshakable peace. The first secret to unshakable peace is about building a mental sanctuary, a safe haven within yourself that nothing from the outside world can disturb. Imagine having a space in your mind that remains calm and steady, no matter what storms life throws your way. Stress, criticism, failure, and even your own self-doubt can feel overwhelming at times. But this inner sanctuary is where you can retreat to find clarity and balance. Think of it like this. When a storm rages outside, you don't stand in the rain hoping it will stop. You take shelter. Your mental sanctuary is exactly that, a place of refuge, not from the world, but from the turmoil it can create within you. It's not about avoiding life's difficulties or pretending that problems don't exist. It's about building a foundation so solid that even the strongest winds can't knock you down. Now, creating this sanctuary doesn't require grand gestures or complex rituals. Start small. Set aside just 5 minutes a day to sit quietly. No phone, no distractions, just you. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and let yourself settle. As you breathe in, imagine peace filling your body. As you exhale, release tension, stress, and noise. Don't force your thoughts to stop. Instead, notice them as they pass by, like clouds drifting across the sky. At first, it might feel unfamiliar, even uncomfortable. Your mind might race, or you might feel impatient. That's okay. Building a sanctuary takes time, but with each day of practice, you strengthen it. Little by little, it becomes easier to pause, to breathe, and to reset. Over time, this sanctuary becomes your refuge, a place you can return to whenever life feels overwhelming. It allows you to respond to challenges with calm and intention, rather than reacting impulsively out of frustration or fear. This simple practice helps you build resilience and clarity, creating a buffer between you and the chaos of the world. When you cultivate this sanctuary within, you realize something profound. Peace is not something you have to search for. It's not dependent on circumstances or people. It's something you create for yourself. It's yours, always, no matter what's happening around you. And that's the first step toward unshakable peace. One of the most profound teachings of Buddhism is this: holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. Think about that for a moment. Anger feels powerful in the moment, but who does it really hurt? The truth is, the only person suffering from your anger is you. When someone insults you, treats you unfairly, or wrongs you in some way, it's natural to feel hurt. But what happens next is crucial. That initial spark of anger, though it feels justified, often turns into something far more destructive if we hold on to it. We replay the moment in our minds, we dwell on it, and it grows. That hurt takes root, clouding our judgment, draining our energy, and pulling us deeper into negativity. Here's the hard truth. The other person might not even be aware of how deeply their words or actions affected you. They might move on, completely oblivious, while you're stuck reliving the pain, letting it fester. This is what it means to drink poison and expect someone else to suffer. The secret to letting go of anger isn't about suppressing it or pretending it doesn't exist. It's about acknowledging it, understanding where it's coming from, and making a conscious choice not to let it control you. Anger is a signal, a teacher even, but it's not meant to take over your life. The next time you feel anger rising within you, practice mindfulness. When the emotion starts to bubble up, don't react immediately. Pause. Take a deep breath. Feel the anger in your body without judgment. Is your chest tight? Is your heart racing? Simply observe it. Then ask yourself, is this worth sacrificing my peace over? More often than not, you'll find that it isn't. Anger thrives on reaction. It grows when we feed it with thoughts like, how dare they? Or, I'll show them. But when you step back, when you pause and choose not to engage with those thoughts, the anger begins to lose its grip on you. This practice isn't about letting others walk all over you. It's about reclaiming your power. When you let go of anger, you're not saying what they did was okay. You're saying, I value my peace more than my grudge. This is strength. This is freedom. Imagine living a life where insults or unfair treatment no longer linger in your mind. Imagine moving forward with clarity and confidence instead of being weighed down by resentment. This is what Buddhism teaches us. Letting go of anger is not a gift you give to others. It's a gift you give to yourself. It's the key to breaking free from the negativity that holds you back and stepping into a life of unshakable peace. Every single person you encounter in life has something to teach you. That's a bold statement, isn't it? At first, it might even sound impossible, especially when you think about the difficult people, the ones who frustrate, challenge, or even hurt you. But here's the secret. Those people, as hard as it might be to see in the moment, are often your greatest teachers. When someone is kind to you, it's easy to learn from them. Their warmth, generosity, and connection teach you gratitude. They remind you to appreciate the beauty of human connection and inspire you to bring that same kindness into your own life. These moments are like gentle lessons, easy to embrace and uplifting to receive. But what about the people who are cruel, impatient, or even downright hostile? It's natural to feel defensive or angry in those moments. Yet, these interactions hold some of the most transformative lessons. They push you to grow in ways that comfort never could. They challenge you to build patience when someone tests your limits, to practice understanding when it feels easier to judge, and to cultivate resilience when you're confronted with unkindness. Viewing others as teachers shifts how you experience the world. Instead of reacting with frustration or resentment, you can approach each situation with curiosity. What is this person teaching me about myself? About my triggers, my strengths, or even my weaknesses? This mindset doesn't mean you have to accept harmful behavior or allow people to mistreat you. It simply means reframing the experience as an opportunity to grow, rather than a reason to dwell in negativity. The next time someone tests your patience, pause. Take a breath. Instead of reacting immediately, ask yourself, what lesson is this moment offering me? Maybe it's teaching you how to stay calm under pressure. Maybe it's showing you where you need to set boundaries or giving you the chance to practice forgiveness. This approach doesn't just benefit you, it deepens your compassion for others. You start to see people, even difficult ones, not as obstacles, but as mirrors reflecting areas where you can evolve. You recognize that everyone, even those who hurt you, is navigating their own struggles, their own fears, and their own pain. Imagine living with this perspective. Every interaction, no matter how challenging, becomes an opportunity for growth. Instead of feeling drained or defeated by difficult people, you feel empowered, stronger, and wiser. This is one of Buddhism's most beautiful secrets. Everyone is a teacher. The kind ones remind us of joy and connection. The challenging ones remind us of our capacity to grow. Together, They shape who we are and who we're becoming. The question is, are you ready to embrace the lesson? Let's be honest. Envy is something we've all experienced. It sneaks in quietly when we see someone succeeding in a way we wish we could. Maybe it's a colleague getting the promotion you wanted, a friend achieving a goal you've been working toward, or even a stranger living a life you dream of. Envy is a natural human emotion, but it can be a double-edged sword. On one side, envy can feel heavy, like a weight pulling you down. It can spiral into self-doubt and negativity, making you feel like you're falling short. But here's the secret. Envy doesn't have to be destructive. In fact, it can become one of your greatest sources of motivation and growth, if you know how to transform it. When you feel envy creeping in, don't push it away or pretend it doesn't exist. Instead, lean into it with curiosity. Ask yourself, what is it about this person's success that stirs something in me? Is it their confidence, their dedication, their creativity? By identifying what you admire in someone else, you shift the focus from what you lack to what you value. Then take it a step further. Ask yourself, how did they achieve this? What actions did they take? What choices brought them to this point? The answers might surprise you. Their journey, while inspiring, might reveal hard work, sacrifices, or habits you can learn from. Instead of letting envy consume you, let it teach you. Let it show you a path forward. When you start to see envy this way, it becomes a motivator rather than a burden. You realize it's not about comparing yourself to others. It's about using their achievements as inspiration for your own growth. Their success doesn't diminish yours. It simply lights the way to possibilities you might not have considered before. Here's something else to remember. The story you see of someone else's life is never the full story. It's easy to envy the highlight reel without seeing the struggles behind the scenes. Everyone faces challenges, insecurities, and setbacks, no matter how perfect their life might appear. Recognizing this adds perspective and helps you connect with their humanity rather than creating distance. Instead of asking, why them and not me, shift the question to, what can I learn from them? This small change in mindset is powerful. It turns envy into a tool for self-reflection and personal development. Imagine living this way, where envy doesn't make you feel smaller, but lifts you up, where the success of others becomes a source of inspiration rather than a reminder of what you don't have. This perspective not only frees you from the negativity of envy, but also helps you focus on your own unique journey. Remember, life is not a race or a competition. Each person's path is their own, shaped by their experiences, opportunities, and choices. Yours is no different. By embracing this truth, you can celebrate others while also celebrating yourself. You can use envy not as a source of pain, but as a spark for growth, guiding you toward becoming the best version of yourself. This principle is all about finding balance. It's about holding yourself to high standards while extending empathy and compassion to others. At first, this might sound contradictory, but when you look deeper, you'll see how these two ideas go hand in hand. Let's start with yourself. Self-discipline is essential for personal growth. It gives you focus, resilience, and the ability to push through challenges. Without it, it's easy to drift aimlessly, letting distractions or excuses pull you away from your goals. But here's the key. Discipline doesn't mean being harsh or overly critical of yourself. There will be moments when you stumble, when things don't go as planned, or when you make mistakes. In those moments, it's crucial to practice self-forgiveness. Instead of beating yourself up, take a step back and ask, what can I learn from this? How can I do better next time? This mindset isn't about lowering your standards. It's about recognizing that growth comes from kindness, not self-criticism. Treat yourself as you would a friend. Encourage, uplift, and guide yourself forward. Now, let's talk about others. While you might hold yourself to high standards, it's important to remember that everyone is on their own journey. People come from different backgrounds, face different struggles, and grow at different paces. Judging others for not meeting your expectations creates tension, both for you and for them. Instead of reacting with frustration or impatience, Try to approach others with understanding. What challenges might they be facing that you can't see? What lessons are they still learning? By choosing empathy over judgment, you create space for genuine connection and understanding. You foster stronger relationships, and you cultivate peace, not just for them, but for yourself as well. Think of it like this. Imagine you're climbing a mountain. You're focused, disciplined, and determined to reach the summit. Along the way, you meet others at different points on the path. Some are struggling with heavy loads. Others are taking their time, enjoying the view. Do you criticize them for not moving at your pace? Or do you offer encouragement, understanding that the mountain is different for everyone? This balance between discipline for yourself and compassion for others creates harmony in your life. It helps you grow into your best self while maintaining meaningful connections with those around you. It's not always easy, of course. There will be moments when your patience is tested, when you feel frustrated by someone else's choices or actions. But in those moments, remember this principle. Remind yourself that judgment only creates division, while empathy builds bridges. By holding yourself accountable and showing grace to others, you embody one of Buddhism's most profound teachings, the balance between self-discipline and compassion. This balance doesn't just make you stronger, it makes you kinder, more connected, and more at peace with the world. It's a practice that benefits not only your personal growth, but also the lives of everyone you touch. Life is unpredictable. We make plans, set goals, and have expectations, but sooner or later, things don't go as we imagined. Challenges arise, setbacks happen, and sometimes the road ahead looks nothing like the one we carefully mapped out. In those moments, it's natural to feel frustrated, disappointed, or even defeated. But here's a truth that Buddhism teaches us. The more you resist these realities, the more tension and suffering you create for yourself. Acceptance is the key. Now let's be clear. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up or resigning yourself to a life of passivity. It's not about letting go of your goals or ambitions. Instead, acceptance is about acknowledging what is, seeing the situation clearly, and working with it rather than fighting against it. Think of it like being caught in a rainstorm. You can stand there, complaining, wishing the rain would stop, or even refusing to move because it wasn't part of your plan. But none of that changes the fact that it's raining. Alternatively, you can grab an umbrella, adapt to the situation, and keep moving forward. The rain is still there, but your approach to it makes all the difference. When you embrace acceptance, you free yourself from the stress and frustration that come with resisting reality. You stop focusing on what should have been and start working with what is. This doesn't mean you ignore challenges. It means you approach them with clarity and resilience. Instead of wasting energy on anger or denial, you channel that energy into finding solutions, adapting, and growing. Acceptance is a powerful practice because it brings you into the present moment. Often, our resistance comes from clinging to the past or fearing the future. We hold on to what we thought life would look like, or we worry about what's to come. But when you accept the here and now, you allow yourself to be fully present. From this grounded place, you can make better decisions, see opportunities you might have missed, and respond with wisdom rather than reaction. This doesn't mean acceptance is easy. Letting go of expectations, especially ones you've held on to tightly, can be challenging. It requires humility to admit that life isn't always under your control. But this humility is also liberating. It reminds you that you don't have to carry the weight of controlling everything. The practice of acceptance is about balance. You acknowledge the reality of the situation while still striving to make the best of it. It's about adapting to the circumstances while staying true to your values and goals. Acceptance doesn't mean you stop trying. It means you stop resisting. Imagine living with this mindset. Instead of feeling trapped by life's unpredictability, you feel empowered by your ability to adapt. Instead of being weighed down by disappointment, you're uplifted by the possibilities of what you can do with what's in front of you. This is the essence of Buddhist wisdom. Life will bring its storms, but how you respond to them is where your peace lies. By practicing acceptance, you let go of unnecessary suffering, and discover a sense of clarity, resilience, and inner strength that carries you through whatever comes your way. Nature holds a profound wisdom that often goes unnoticed in the rush of our daily lives. The rhythm of the natural world, the changing seasons, the ebb and flow of tides, the cycles of day and night, speaks to a truth we sometimes forget. Life itself is cyclical. It's not a straight line, but a series of phases: growth, rest, renewal, and everything in between. When we learn to align ourselves with these natural rhythms, we find a balance that feels both grounding and transformative. Take a moment to think about the seasons. Winter, with its stillness and quiet, teaches us the importance of rest and reflection. Spring reminds us of renewal, of the beauty in starting fresh. Summer shows us abundance and energy, while autumn gently encourages us to let go of what no longer serves us. These cycles aren't just happening around us, they're mirrored within us as well. When you connect with nature, even in small ways, you begin to feel this rhythm more deeply. Spend time outdoors. Take a walk in the park, feel the sun on your skin, or listen to the rustling of leaves in the breeze. Breathe in fresh air and allow yourself to be fully present in the moment. These simple acts aren't just about relaxation, they're about reconnecting to something greater than yourself. Nature has a way of reminding us of impermanence. Just as winter inevitably gives way to spring, every challenge, every struggle will eventually pass. The bare trees of winter may seem lifeless, but they hold within them the promise of buds and blossoms. In the same way, the difficulties in your life are not permanent. They're part of a cycle that leads to growth and renewal. By observing nature, we learn to let go of the need to control every outcome. We begin to understand that just as a tree doesn't force its leaves to grow or fall, we too can trust the flow of life. We can embrace the present moment, knowing that it's just one chapter in a much larger story. But there's another layer to this connection with nature. It brings us clarity. When you step away from screens, from noise, from the constant buzz of modern life, you create space to breathe, think, and feel. Nature has a way of quieting the mind, helping you reconnect with yourself. It reminds you of your place in the world, not as something separate from it, but as an integral part of it. Imagine living in tune with these natural rhythms. Instead of resisting life's phases, you embrace them. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by challenges, you see them as part of a larger cycle that will bring growth and transformation. Instead of rushing through moments, you learn to savor them, knowing that each one is fleeting and precious. This is the wisdom that nature offers us, and it's the essence of Buddhist teachings as well. By aligning yourself with the cycles of life, you find balance. You let go of unnecessary stress and discover a sense of peace that comes from being present, grounded, and connected to the world around you. Nature isn't just a backdrop for our lives. It's a teacher, a guide, and a source of endless inspiration. When you take the time to listen, to observe, and to align yourself with its wisdom, you find that it's not just the world around you that changes, it's the world within you as well. Your thoughts and actions hold a power far greater than you might realize. Every decision you make, every word you speak, and every step you take shapes the world around you. It's like dropping a pebble into a still pond. What you do creates ripples that extend far beyond what you can see. This is why living with integrity is so important. When you choose honesty, kindness, and responsibility, you send waves of positivity into the world, touching the lives of others in ways you may never know. Living with integrity doesn't mean being perfect. It's not about never making mistakes or always getting it right. It's about being intentional. It's about pausing before you act, reflecting on your values, and choosing a path that aligns with what truly matters to you. These choices don't have to be grand gestures. Often, it's the small, everyday decisions that have the greatest impact. When you're honest in your interactions, you build trust. When you're kind to others, even in the smallest ways, you brighten their day and remind them of the goodness in the world. When you take responsibility for your actions, you inspire others to do the same. These actions might seem simple, but they carry a deep power. At the same time, living with integrity means avoiding actions that harm others or disturb your inner peace. It's not just about how you treat the world, it's also about how you treat yourself. Ask yourself, does this choice align with my values? Does it contribute to the person I want to be? If the answer is no, take a step back. This isn't about perfection, it's about awareness and intention. Over time, these small, thoughtful steps create a life of fulfillment and connection. When you live with integrity, you're not only at peace with yourself, but you also strengthen your relationships with others. People can feel when your actions come from a place of authenticity. It builds a sense of trust and respect that deepens your connection to those around you. But the ripple effect goes even further. When you live in a way that reflects honesty and kindness, you inspire others to do the same. Your actions become a source of motivation for others to reflect on their own lives, creating a chain reaction of positivity. Imagine the impact of one kind gesture multiplied through the lives of others. It's extraordinary. This doesn't mean the path of integrity is always easy. There will be moments when honesty feels uncomfortable, when kindness feels undeserved, or when responsibility feels like a burden. But in those moments, remember that every choice is an opportunity to grow. The challenges you face on this path aren't roadblocks, they're stepping stones, each one helping you become a stronger, more compassionate version of yourself. Living with integrity isn't just about the external impact, it's also about the inner peace it brings. When your actions align with your values, there's no inner conflict, no second guessing, no regrets. You live with a sense of clarity and purpose that feels deeply fulfilling. This is the secret that Buddhism teaches. The way you live your life matters, not because of how the world will see you, but because of how it shapes your inner world and the ripples it sends outward. Integrity is not about striving for perfection. It's about living with intention, creating a life that feels whole, meaningful, and deeply connected to the world around you. And in doing so, you not only transform your own life, but you also contribute to a world that is brighter, kinder, and more at peace. Gratitude is one of the most transformative practices you can bring into your life. It has the power to completely shift your perspective, taking your focus away from what's lacking and directing it toward what you already have. In a world that constantly pushes us to want more, achieve more, and compare ourselves to others, gratitude is like a quiet refuge, a space where you can pause, breathe, and reconnect with the abundance already present in your life. Gratitude doesn't require grand gestures or extraordinary circumstances. It begins in the simplest moments. Think of the warmth of a morning cup of coffee, the kindness in a friend's words, the beauty of a sunset painting the sky, or the feeling of safety in your own home. These are small, often overlooked blessings, but when you take the time to truly appreciate them, they become profound reminders of how much there is to be thankful for. The practice of gratitude is not just about fleeting emotions, it's a way of retraining your mind. Our default tendency is often to dwell on what's missing, on what went wrong, or on what we wish we could change. Gratitude interrupts that cycle. When you consciously choose to focus on what you have rather than what you lack, it changes the way you see your life. It helps you realize that joy is not something waiting for you in the future. It's already here, in the present moment. Make it a daily ritual. At the end of each day, take just a few minutes to reflect. What are 3 things you're grateful for today? They don't have to be big. Maybe it's the way the sunlight felt on your face, a laugh you shared with someone, or even just the fact that you made it through a tough day. Write them down if you can. The act of naming your gratitude reinforces its presence in your mind and anchors it in your heart. Gratitude doesn't just make you happier, it strengthens your relationships. When you express your appreciation for others, whether it's a simple thank you or a heartfelt acknowledgement, it deepens your connection with them. Gratitude reminds you of the value of the people in your life, and it creates a ripple effect. The more you practice gratitude, the more others feel it, and they, in turn, are inspired to spread it further. There's another layer to gratitude that's deeply aligned with Buddhist teachings. Gratitude grounds you in the present moment. When you focus on what you're thankful for, you're not caught up in regrets about the past or worries about the future. You're fully here, appreciating life as it is, with all its imperfections and beauty. This presence is a form of mindfulness, and it brings a sense of peace that's hard to find in the busyness of everyday life. Gratitude also cultivates resilience. When life feels overwhelming, it can be tempting to spiral into negativity. But even in the darkest times, there is always something to be grateful for. Maybe it's the support of a friend, the lessons you're learning through adversity, or simply the fact that you're still here, still trying. Gratitude doesn't erase hardship, but it helps you find light in the shadows, giving you strength to keep moving forward. Imagine what your life would feel like if gratitude became your daily practice. Instead of chasing happiness in the next achievement or possession, you'd discover it in the moments unfolding around you. Instead of feeling weighed down by what you don't have, you'd feel uplifted by what you do. This is the secret power of gratitude. It transforms your perspective, deepens your relationships, and roots you in the here and now, where peace and contentment truly live. Start today. Take a moment to reflect on something you're grateful for right now. Let that feeling fill your heart and carry it with you. Gratitude isn't just a practice, it's a way of seeing the world, a way of living that brings joy, connection, and clarity to every step of your journey. The final principle is about surrender, and it's one of the most misunderstood concepts in life. Surrender is not about giving up or resigning yourself to fate. It's about releasing the need to control everything, to micromanage every detail of your existence. Life has its own flow, its own rhythm, and when you resist it, you create frustration and tension within yourself. But when you learn to trust it, you discover a profound sense of ease and clarity. Picture yourself swimming in a river. If you fight against the current, you exhaust yourself. You might barely move forward, and with every stroke, the resistance feels heavier, more defeating. But when you stop fighting, when you allow yourself to flow with the current, something magical happens. The river carries you effortlessly. You still have to navigate, you still have to steer, but you're no longer at war with the water. This is what it means to surrender to life's flow. Life, much like that river, has its currents. Sometimes it moves swiftly, taking you through changes and challenges you didn't anticipate. Other times it slows down, almost urging you to pause and reflect. Either way, life continues, and the more you resist its flow, the more drained and frustrated you feel. But surrendering doesn't mean passivity. It means accepting what is, letting go of the illusion of control, and trusting the process of life. Challenges will come, and change is inevitable. Instead of seeing these moments as obstacles, surrender allows you to embrace them as opportunities for growth. When you trust life's flow, you begin to see that every setback has a purpose, every challenge carries a lesson, and every change is an invitation to evolve. Surrender doesn't mean you stop striving. It means you strive with an open heart, knowing that the outcome is not always yours to dictate. This mindset shifts everything. When something unexpected happens, a missed opportunity, a relationship ending, a sudden detour, you no longer feel defeated. Instead, you ask, what can I learn from this? How is this shaping me into the person I'm meant to become? You start to see that life isn't happening to you, it's happening for you, guiding you toward growth, wisdom, and a deeper sense of peace. Surrender also teaches you patience. Not everything happens on your timeline, and that's okay. Trusting the process means accepting that there are things you cannot rush and outcomes you cannot force. It's about letting go of the need to control and finding peace in simply being present. When you let go of control, you make room for life to unfold in ways that might surprise and even amaze you. Imagine living this way, where instead of resisting the challenges life brings, you embrace them. Instead of feeling crushed by setbacks, you feel curious about what they're teaching you. Instead of fearing change, you welcome it as part of the journey. Surrendering to life's flow isn't about giving up your dreams or your goals. It's about releasing the struggle and allowing life to guide you towards something even greater than what you had planned. This principle is deeply rooted in Buddhist wisdom. The Buddha taught that attachment, whether to specific outcomes, ideas, or control itself, is a source of suffering. By letting go of this attachment, by surrendering, you free yourself from the constant push and pull of resistance. You find peace, not because everything is perfect, but because you're no longer trying to force life into a mold it was never meant to fit. Start small. The next time something doesn't go your way, pause, take a deep breath, and remind yourself that life has a flow. Trust that you're exactly where you need to be, even if it doesn't make sense right now. Over time, this practice of surrender becomes second nature. You stop fighting the current, and instead, you let it carry you forward with grace. This is the secret of surrender. It's not about losing control. It's about realizing you never needed control to begin with. Life is already guiding you, already shaping you into the person you're meant to be. When you trust that process, you unlock a sense of freedom, ease, and peace that can carry you through anything. These 10 principles are not just abstract ideas or distant philosophies. They are powerful tools for transformation. They hold the potential to reshape your life, guiding you toward resilience, clarity, and a sense of unshakable peace that comes from deep within. Each principle is a stepping stone, a gentle reminder of the strength and wisdom you already possess. This journey isn't about striving for perfection. Perfection is a myth that keeps us chasing something unattainable. Instead, it's about progress, small, intentional steps that bring you closer to a life that feels balanced, grounded, and truly fulfilling. Every moment you choose to practice mindfulness, compassion, or gratitude, you're building a foundation for lasting peace. Start small. Choose one principle that resonates with you today. Reflect on it, explore what it means in your life, and put it into practice. Notice how even the tiniest shift in perspective can create a ripple effect, transforming not just how you see the world, but how you experience it. These principles remind us that the tools we need to cultivate a meaningful life aren't out there somewhere. They're already within us. The path to peace, resilience, and clarity begins the moment you decide to take that first step. This is your time. The tools are in your hands. Now is the time to use them.